Hi guys, I'm dealing with a serious dodgy lighting situation. It's like the sun is just blasting through my bedroom right now. But I've got my cup of tea, which is, oh, I need to turn it around. Oh, this is really hot. I put this little resort TV thing on YouTube. I just found it on YouTube, but I don't know what the channel is. Uh, it might be Walt Disney World Today. I don't know, but if you want to check it out, just type in Resort TV. I felt like this was a vibe. Today, I thought I would talk about all things Disney World because it's been ages since I've done a Disney video, so I felt like we needed some Disney back on the channel. It was feeling a little bit unmagical. Before we get fully into this video, I'm going to give you all the tips that I have learnt from my trip to Disney World. However, bear in mind I am not a travel agent or a pro in any of this stuff, so I advise that you do your own research on everything because things can be different depending on where you're going from or what your holiday looks like. But I just wanted to give you some of my tips that I've learnt because, you know, it is pretty overwhelming booking Walt Disney World. There is a lot to know and a lot of things, and it can get a little bit much, so I thought I'd try and write down some points that I think might be handy. But yeah, I totally would advise that you do some research. So I think we need to start off with the point of booking your Disney holiday. So there's many ways you can book a Disney holiday, but personally I booked it through the Walt Disney World website. It's super easy. You literally click when you want to go, click your flight, click your hotel, and then add on any extras, and then literally bish bash bosh, you have then just booked your holiday. Like, it's that easy. It's literally too easy. But yeah, we paid like a deposit, and then I think you have until like a certain time to then pay the rest. So that's what we done. We just put down a deposit, and then when it come to the time when we needed to pay the rest of the holiday, that's what we done. You can probably do this through other ways as well, but that's just how we booked our holiday. So yeah, you can book it through the Walt Disney World site. You can also book it through like other websites, like Virgin would do like packages, you know, websites like that. Or you could just go to a travel agent and just get them to book it for you, or call a travel agent or whatever. So there's many different ways that you can book a Disney holiday. We personally done it through the Disney website just because it was so simple. I don't know if it's a little bit more expensive doing it through the Disney website. I didn't really find that it was. But then again, I haven't got it to compare to something else. So yeah, I think like looking on like Virgin and then on Disney World, I don't think there was much in it, so we just booked through the Disney website. However, there definitely will be ways of doing it cheaper. So obviously then you want to pick your hotel. So there is the sort of budget hotels, which is what we stayed at, which is in Disney. I'm talking in Disney World right now. So you've got your budget right up to your luxury hotels. So the budget would be like All Star Sports, music and movies, also Pop Century, Art of Animation. They are more on the lower end of the scale. And then you've got right at the top, you've got like Animal Kingdom Lodge, you've got Grand Floridian, the Riviera, Wilderness, well, Wilderness Lodge or whatever it is, Wilderness Lodge. There's two ends, so depending on how much you're willing to pay for your Disney holiday, depending on where you're going to book. Personally, we just went for the budget because we were like, well, we're going to be in the parks for a majority of our holiday, so the hotel really, we didn't want luxury because we're not going to be in it. So yeah, and also it is quite expensive to book a luxury holiday at Disney World, especially if you're going for 2 weeks. I would say go have a little look. It is pretty crazy. So yeah, we wouldn't be able to afford to stay 2 weeks at the Grand Floridian. So we went for All Star Sports, which we loved. We thought it was great. It also had like a kind of 90s vibe to it, so that was great for us. It was like a throwback. But yeah, it depends what you want. There can be like middle kind of ground hotels as well, so have a little look through. That's like the Disney hotels. They're great, but yeah, it just depends how much you're willing to spend, how long you're going for, how far are you traveling from. If you're just like going for a couple of days and you might want to stay at a really nice hotel, but it's completely up to you. But then also you've got the partner hotels, so it's worth having a look at those, because there's like the Swan and Dolphin Hotel. I believe one of those was having like renovation done to it when we were there, but yeah, it might be worth looking at those, because the Swan and Dolphin was literally situated between Hollywood Studios and Epcot, so you could literally walk to those two parks from it. It was like not very far at all. So if you're looking at not a Disney hotel, maybe you don't want to be in that complete Disney bubble the whole time, maybe that might be a good option. But yeah, I don't know, I think they're redoing one of the hotels, so it might be worth looking at that. They were when we were there, but yeah, I don't know what it was like on the inside, but I'm assuming it's a little bit less Disney-fied than staying in a Disney hotel as such. If you see me looking at my phone throughout the video, it's because I've kind of put down some notes, because otherwise I will just forget what I'm talking about. So yeah, please ignore me, like, I remember what I need to say, because my memory is really, really bad. So those kind of hotels, which are Disney partner hotels, I believe. So they have like the shuttle buses and things like that, so Disney recommends them as good hotels. So yeah, I think have a look at those if you wanted like maybe less of a Disney hotel but still close and situated in between the parks. The other option you could look at is going completely off-site, and then getting transport into the parks, you know, on the daily or whatever, however much you're going. That might be a good idea if you're looking at doing like maybe a little bit of Universal, a little bit of Disney World, but not 2 weeks at Disney World, if that makes sense. Or if you're just looking at doing a few different parks, maybe it's best to stay off site, hire a car kind of thing. So that leads into my point about transport, like saying obviously you could hire a car, but I personally didn't feel like for us that was worth, because we were staying in All Star Sports. There's a bus shuttle like every, I don't know, like 10 minutes, which can take us to all of the parks and also Disney Springs. For us, a car was just not worth it. So we did use Uber when we wanted to go to like the shopping centres, or to Target or Walmart, things like that. We used Uber, and we found that super easy. Literally, we would press it and someone would arrive in like a couple minutes. So it was really good, and it was pretty reasonable as well. So Uber Eats as well, in case you can't find something that you want to eat, you can Uber Eats to the hotel. It's great. We did that. We got Chipotle, and I wish we did that a little bit more, because it was quite fun just Uber Eatsing and like going to pick up our order at the lobby. Yeah, I suppose if you're looking at staying in Disney World, it might be worth looking at what transport you kind of want to have, because if you're staying at like Pop Century, you could get the Skyliner over to like Hollywood Studios and Epcot. But if you're staying like, so the monorail has a track, it's all connected but not connected. So some places have certain hotel transportations, but I think all of them have the buses. But if you are particularly wanting to have like the Skyliner, you're best at looking at hotels near Epcot and Hollywood Studios. But if you want to have like the monorail, you're best off looking at nearer Magic Kingdom. And I'm not really sure if anything goes into Animal Kingdom like that. I think it is just buses, because we were closest to Animal Kingdom, our hotel, and we just had the bus shuttle to Animal Kingdom. But yeah, I think like it's worth having a look at that. And also there's water taxis as well. That's another thing. There's loads of transport in Disney World that's free if you're staying on site and with Disney. But even if you've just got tickets, I believe you can just get on the Skyliner. Like, you don't have to be staying there to... I'm just gonna tuck my hair behind my ears, because no, I'm not. That's bad, isn't it? That looks bad. I don't know, my hair's just annoying me today. You ever get that? It's just in your face. But yeah, so there is multiple ways of traveling around the park, so it's worth having a look to see what works for you when you're looking at booking your hotel, because all the hotels offer different things. Boring stuff as well, obviously, that you need to think about. So you need to think about getting your ESTA. That's if you are in the UK. There's a few other countries that have the ESTAs, but for us we had to get an ESTA. Otherwise I believe you have to get like a visa. So this is like a visa waiver thing, as far as I'm aware. I found it very complicated learning about all this stuff, but it was pretty easy to apply for. It didn't take very long at all, probably like 10-20 minutes. The ESTA you will need to have to get into the United States, so make sure you have applied for an ESTA if you have a digital chip in your passport. Everyone in the UK should have the digital tip. Oh, for goodness sake. I don't know why I can't say it. But everyone in the UK should have the right passport in order that has like the little digital thing that the airport can scan. So you have to have that if you don't have a visa. So I believe it was like £20 or something to pay for that, and I believe it lasts a couple years, so it's not too bad. Once you've got it for a few years. So yeah, it was pretty simple, and it's all linked to your passport. But have a little look. I found the post office really helpful because I really just didn't understand what it was. I didn't know if I needed a visa or an ESTA. I didn't really get it. I've never had to do anything like that when I've gone abroad before, so I went and spoke to the post office, and they were actually very helpful with that kind of thing, because to me it just, I don't know, I don't understand this kind of stuff, but they were pretty helpful with that. And they were like, you've got everything you need, don't worry, you're fine, you're set to go, because I was really worried that I didn't have everything. Food is really, really important when it comes to Disney. There is so much to try, so much to take in. There's snacks, you know, drinks, big like cool drinks. So there is a lot of food and stuff like that. So you need to figure out how you want to go about it. So when we went, unfortunately the Disney dining plan wasn't being offered. However, I do think it is quite a good idea to do the Disney dining plan if you can, because you've already prepaid for your food and things like that, so you know that you can just literally have your spending money for other things, if that makes sense. However, there's different tiers of the Disney dining plan, so you've got like the basic one right up to the like deluxe one. So the basic one, I'll try and find a screenshot because I believe it's constantly changing, so I'll try and find a screenshot of the different tiers and I'll put them down the side here. But I believe the lowest one is like one snack, one drink, and a like quick service meal off the top of my head, and then it goes right up to the top tier one, which is I think like probably sit down meal, snack, drink, the same sort of thing, but you get the nicer dinner. So you get that every day, but I believe how it used to be, I don't know if it's still the same, but I believe if you don't use like a snack credit, it rolls over to the next day. I think, don't quote me on that, it could have changed, but yeah, if you don't have a snack one day, you could have a few snacks the next day. So I think if you don't use it, it's not like you're going to lose it, but it could have changed. I don't know. I need to do my research. I don't know. But yeah, when I looked years ago, that was how it was, but it hasn't been a thing since we went. So yeah, make sure you have a good look at your options, see what works best for you. But yes, you can pre-book your reservations 60 days before. I would totally recommend doing this if there's places you really, really want to go. So we wanted to try Cinderella's Royal Table and be our guest. That was it. Like we were like, everywhere else we'll just see where we can get into, what's available. We'll just be happy with quick service most of the time. But those were the two that we wanted to try, like the nice sit down meals, because they can get quite pricey. Works out about £60 per meal for that. So it would be quite pricey for the two of us to have one of those meals every night for 2 weeks. So we did one each week. It was definitely worth doing, because you get the starter, you get your dinner, and then you get a dessert and you get drink. But I believe if you have alcoholic drinks, then that is an extra charge. But otherwise, it was good fun. I would recommend trying it. But yeah, things like that you're going to want to book as soon as they go on. So I believe it's 60 days before. You would just need to keep refreshing the page until they all come up on either on your computer or on your app on your phone, and then just book. And Cinderella's Royal Table you have to pay for there and then, whereas Be Our Guest you didn't. You paid for that when you were there. So it's all a bit different depending on where you go. But that was the only two we pre-booked, and everything else we found was just pretty easy to get into, but we didn't, like I say, we didn't do any sit down meals really. We went into quick service, or we ordered in. Getting from the airport to Disney. So we found this pretty simple. So there is like a coach that you can get, which I believe is called Ms. Connect, which I think used to be the Magical Express. But now it is just a regular coach that you can buy to get you to your hotel. But obviously, if you're getting on the coach, I should imagine that would go and stop around a lot of different hotels. So it would take you quite a while to get to where you want to go. Whereas we just end up getting a taxi because it worked out probably not much more expensive. We're on a plane for 10 hours. The last thing we want to do is go around every single hotel in the area. We just want to get in, have a shower, get changed, and try and beat the jet lag. But yeah, you can do taxi, you can do Ms. Connect, or I think there might be other different coach services, but that was how we found best. When we went, there was theme park reservations. I do believe that is still a thing to put in where you're going on what day. However, when we went, you couldn't park hop until after 2 o'clock, but now I think you can park hop whenever you want. So I think, yeah, you just book into where you want to go, but if you want to change your mind, you can park hop. So yeah, double check that. But I believe they've done away with the whole it needs to be after 2 o'clock sort of thing. Pack for all weathers. Florida can just change. It can just be sunny and then it can be raining and then it can just be really hot again. So I'd say make sure you have like a jumper of some kind, because it can get a bit chilly, especially in like January, February when we went. The evenings the temperature really does drop, so hence why I bought this on my first day, because I did not expect it to get quite so cold. But yes, you'll want to take a jumper. You'll want to take maybe like a what's the word, like a poncho, like one you can just screw up into your bag, because it can just suddenly be like a downpour. But then it will be hot again afterwards. So make sure you have some kind of rain cover, I suppose. One tip I would say is if you have any worries about anything or you're just unsure, ring the Disney phone line. That's what I done. I just sat there in the evening, give them a call. It might take you like an hour to get through. I believe it's like a free phone line, so I literally had my phone on. It was playing all the Disney tunes, so I didn't even mind because I was there like, and I was there having a great time. Then they answered the phone, and I was just like, oh, I was singing to the Disney song. They were so helpful. Both times I rang them twice, and both times they just went through any questions that I had. Obviously, they didn't really know much regarding like Esther's and things like that, but anything to do with Disney or being in the parks, they were so helpful. And like checking into your hotel, like I had some problems with the app, and they were like, no, it's fine. So yeah, so helpful. If you need to ring them, the cast members on the phone line are great. Magic bands are really handy. If you know you're going to be going back to Disney a lot and you are also there for like 2 weeks, the magic bands were great because you just literally tap your wrist on the photo passes to get into the parks. Like it is just like your magic key. It's great. You can get into your room with it. Obviously you can do that with your phone, but I just felt like a little bit more like, oh, it's a bit more magical, you know? It felt a little bit more fun. And obviously it wasn't eating into my phone battery, constantly going onto the app to unlock and, you know, do things. So it was all just on my watch, and I got the Magic Band Plus, so that lit up all the fireworks. It was just great. I loved it. And obviously I know I'll be going back at some point, so I can just take it with me. But yeah, Magic Bands used to be free, but now you have to pay for them. So the standard one's like $20, and then it just goes up from there depending on what ones you're getting. But they are super handy. With that, also, I'd say the resort cups, which you can get with the refillable drinks. We at first were like, well, it's quite expensive to buy a resort cup that we can't fill up in the parks, just in the hotel. But we ended up buying one like a day in, because we were like, actually, it makes sense because every time in the morning we can get up and fill up the drink it, and then fill it up again, and then we could take it with us. And then in the evening we can come in and get a hot chocolate. We can fill it up. It was just really handy. We could just fill up a drink in the morning, in the evening, and actually it worked out to be cheaper to do that than be buying drinks in the restaurant, because buying like one Fanta from the restaurant was like $3, or something crazy like that. So when we're in the hotel, it just made sense to go and get a free drink from the hotel rather than paying for a bottle of something. But yeah, definitely recommend getting those, especially if you're at the hotel a lot. It's really handy in the days where you're at the pool. You can just go and fill up your drink as much as you want, and you quickly make your money back. It's really good. I'd say the one last little tip that I have, which I would do next time, is take like a little bottle of like laundry detergent or something, because on site, I don't know if it's the same outside, might be worth checking with the hotel, but they actually had a laundry department, which was so handy. We end up going to Target and getting like a little laundry, little detergent and stuff. It was great because you could just do your own washing, which you think you've packed enough until you get there and it's hot in the morning. You end up changing because you're so hot, and then you quickly get through all your clothes and you think, I'm running out of clothes. Really recommend. They do have like a machine where you can buy washing stuff, I think, but I think we just bought ours from Target. But if you could probably fit one in your bag, like a little one, be worth it. But yeah, you can wash your clothes if you're staying in a Disney resort. So yeah, that was a really handy little thing. Yeah, I think that's all the tips I'm going to go through today because my brain hurts a little bit trying to remember everything. But if I've missed anything or there's anything you're like, you didn't cover this, then let me know, because there's a lot when it comes to Disney. I could cover so many different things, but right now this is all my brain can cope with. So I hope this helps if you're planning a trip to Disney, but please don't hesitate to ask me any questions below and then I can do a part 2 if need be. But yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you have a magical week and I shall see you in my next video. Bye.